In 2021, 10 children disappeared during a school field trip to the Riverside Natural History Museum in Portland, Oregon. Security cameras captured something that defies explanation: the children walking through solid walls, moving through exhibit cases, and vanishing into spaces that don't exist. 3 years later, the footage remains classified, but museum staff report strange phenomena every night after closing. Children's voices echoing from empty halls. And shadows moving through displays that shouldn't cast shadows at all. Before you watch this video, don't forget to subscribe to Beneath Stories, because some disappearances happen in plain sight, captured on camera, yet impossible to explain. May 14, 2021. Riverside Natural History Museum in Portland, Oregon was preparing for another busy school visit. The museum, built in 1923, housed dinosaur fossils, Native American artifacts, and geological specimens in its grand halls. Mrs. Patricia Henley's 4th grade class from Westbrook Elementary arrived at 10 a.m. The group had 10 students aged 9 to 10, plus Mrs. Henley and 2 parent volunteers. Among the children were best friends Sophia Martinez and Emma Chen, class clown Tyler Brooks, quiet Michael Davis, and twins Sarah and Katie Williams. Tour guide Janet Morrison had worked at Riverside for 15 years. At 9:45 a.m., she met the group and gave her usual safety briefing. Stay with the group at all times. Don't touch displays unless I say it's okay. If you get separated, find a museum staff member in a blue shirt. The tour began in the main hall with the museum's T-Rex skeleton named Rex. The children gathered around, asking questions about dinosaur behavior and extinction. At 10:15 a.m., they moved to the geology hall. This was when security cameras first recorded something unusual. Museum security supervisor David Chen was monitoring camera feeds when he noticed something odd about the school group in the geology hall. The children appeared to be moving in ways that didn't match their positions. On camera 7, he could see 10 children examining mineral displays. But on camera 8 of the adjacent area, only 7 children were visible. The missing 3 weren't in blind spots, they'd simply vanished from one angle while remaining visible on another. Chen switched between feeds. In the main hall cameras, he counted 10 children clearly. In the geology hall, the count fluctuated between 7 and 10 depending on camera angle. At first, Chen assumed technical glitch. But as he continued monitoring, the anomalies became more pronounced. On camera 12 showing the Native American Heritage exhibit entrance, the school group approached. Mrs. Henley and volunteers entered first, followed by all 10 children. But camera 13 inside the Heritage exhibit showed only 6 children entering. The missing children weren't hiding or obscured. They simply weren't there on some feeds while clearly visible on others. Chen called maintenance to check the system. Diagnostics showed all cameras functioning normally with no interference or processing errors. At 10:45 a.m., the group entered the paleontology wing. Tour guide Janet Morrison was explaining fossilization when she noticed Michael Davis had wandered away, examining a display case containing dinosaur eggs 20 feet from the group. "Michael, please rejoin us," Morrison called. Michael nodded and began walking back. But as Morrison watched, something impossible happened. Michael walked directly into the solid display case and disappeared. Morrison blinked, certain she'd seen wrong. The case was thick glass and steel, completely solid. No child could walk through it. But Michael was gone. "Where's Michael?" Mrs. Henley asked, noticing the missing student. Morrison counted the children. Only 9 remained. Michael Davis had vanished. They searched immediately. Morrison called backup staff. Security was notified. But Michael was nowhere to be found. In the security office, David Chen watched the footage in disbelief. Camera 15 clearly showed Michael Davis walking toward the display case, appearing to pass through the solid structure, and vanishing completely. Chen rewound and watched again. The image was clear and undistorted. A child had apparently walked through solid matter. Over the next hour, 3 more children disappeared similarly. Each disappearance was captured on camera, each defied physics. At 11:20 a.m., Emma Chen was examining minerals when she stepped backward and appeared to pass through the solid wall behind her. Cameras showed her backing up to the wall, then continuing as if it didn't exist, until she vanished. At 11:35 a.m., twins Sarah and Katie Williams walked behind a large aquarium display in Marine Life exhibit. Security footage showed them entering the space behind the tank, but they never emerged. The area was a solid wall with no exits. Each disappearance followed the same pattern: children interacted with solid structures as if they weren't solid, then vanished. The footage was clear but showed impossible events. Mrs. Henley panicked as students disappeared one by one. Remaining children were frightened and confused. Museum staff had never experienced anything like this. Portland police responded at 12:15 p.m. Detective Sarah Kim arrived to find 6 children vanished from a secure, monitored building in daylight, with video footage of their disappearances. Initial investigation focused on conventional explanations. Hidden passages. Security blind spots. Had someone removed the children undetected? Museum blueprints showed no secret rooms or forgotten areas. Every exit was camera monitored with no unauthorized departures recorded. The security footage was most puzzling. Detective Kim watched videos repeatedly, consulting technical experts about possible manipulation or camera malfunction. Digital forensics confirmed footage was authentic and unaltered. Cameras functioned properly with no technical issues. The videos genuinely showed children walking through solid walls. "I've seen strange things in 20 years of police work," Detective Kim told museum director Dr. Eleanor Hayes. "But nothing that challenges basic physics like this footage." Search teams combed every inch of Riverside Natural History Museum. K-9 units tracked scents. Ground-penetrating radar checked for hidden chambers. Thermal imaging searched for heat signatures. The scent trails provided another puzzle. Dogs could track each child to where they disappeared on camera, but trails ended abruptly at solid walls or display cases. No indication children had continued beyond those points. "It's like they stopped existing," explained K-9 handler officer Maria Santos. "The scent doesn't fade or lead elsewhere. It just ends." Museum staff provided building history. Riverside was built on a former residential neighborhood demolished in the early 1920s. Records showed several homes and a church had occupied the land previously. Some staff reported unusual experiences over the years: voices in empty galleries, unexplained footsteps, occasional figure sightings. But these had been dismissed as imagination. As conventional methods yielded no results, Detective Kim consulted paranormal researchers and physicists. Dr. Robert Chen, theoretical physicist from Portland State, analyzed footage frame by frame. His conclusion was unsettling: videos showed genuine violations of physical laws. "Matter cannot pass through matter normally," Dr. Chen explained. "But quantum physics has theoretical scenarios where this might be possible. If children shifted into different dimensional state, they might move through solid objects existing only in our dimension." Paranormal investigator Dr. Lisa Hayes brought electromagnetic detectors and thermal sensors to disappearance locations. Her equipment registered unusual readings at each site. "Significant electromagnetic anomalies," Dr. Hayes reported. "Temperature variations that shouldn't exist, energy readings suggesting dimensional instability." Investigation expanded to research the museum's land history, revealing disturbing information. Research revealed troubling events from before the museum's construction. In 1918, a fire destroyed several homes in the neighborhood. Among victims were 8 children from 3 families, trapped in a basement and never recovered. Their bodies were presumed consumed by intense heat. Local newspapers described it as Portland's worst residential fire. Witnesses reported hearing children's voices calling for help, but rescue attempts failed due to fire intensity. After the fire, land remained vacant for years. Residents reported strange phenomena: children's voices at night, unexplained lights, small figures moving through ruins. When museum construction began in 1923, workers reported unusual experiences. Tools disappeared and reappeared elsewhere. Some heard children's laughter from empty building areas. The missing children might have encountered residual energy from the 1918 fire, suggested Dr. Hayes. If children who died then remained attached to this location, they might be interacting with the missing students. 3 months after disappearances, the museum reopened. But staff reported increasing paranormal activity. Night security guard Tom Rodriguez documented numerous incidents. Motion detectors triggered in empty galleries. Cameras captured moving shadows where no physical objects existed. The PA system occasionally broadcast children's voices with no one using microphones. Every night, something happens, Rodriguez reported. Footsteps in paleontology. Voices in heritage exhibit. Sometimes I see figures moving through displays, but when I check, nobody's there. Most disturbing were after-hours camera recordings. Cameras captured children moving through galleries, sometimes alone, sometimes in groups. The figures appeared to be missing students, but behaved strangely, walking through walls and exhibits as if structures didn't exist. The children never acknowledged cameras or showed awareness of observation. They appeared to explore freely, unbound by physical barriers. Detective Kim maintained active investigation despite lack of conventional evidence. The case garnered national attention, with investigators and media requesting security footage access. The museum board faced pressure to release videos publicly. But Dr. Hayes argued footage was too disturbing and inexplicable to share widely. These videos show events challenging everything we understand about reality, Dr. Hayes explained. Without explanation, releasing footage would only cause panic and confusion. Missing children's families struggled without closure. Without bodies or conventional evidence, they couldn't begin grieving. How do you explain your child walked through a wall? Asked Maria Martinez, Sophia's mother. How do you process loss that doesn't make scientific sense? Traditional grief counseling was inadequate for such unprecedented circumstances. 2 years later, museum staff reported new developments. Children's voices became more frequent and seemed to communicate specific messages. Night security recorded audio of children calling names, apparently trying to contact families. Voices were distant and unclear, as if from far away or through barriers. "Mommy, can you hear me?" was recorded in Heritage exhibit. Voice analysis confirmed it matched Emma Chen's vocal patterns. "I can see you, but you can't see me," was heard in Geology Hall, matching Michael Davis's speech patterns. Recordings suggested missing children might still be conscious and aware, existing in parallel state allowing observation but not interaction with normal world. Dr. Chen proposed children might have shifted into dimensional space occupying the same location but existing in different quantum state. Like 2 television channels on the same frequency, Dr. Chen explained. Children might be in a museum version parallel to ours, able to see us but unable to make direct contact. Today, 3 years after disappearances, Riverside Natural History Museum continues operating with reduced visitor numbers. Security footage remains classified, available only to law enforcement and authorized researchers. Missing children's families visit regularly, hoping for signs of their lost sons and daughters. Some report sensing children's presence in disappearance galleries. "I know Sophia is still here," says Maria Martinez. "Sometimes I almost feel her near me in marine life exhibit. Like she's just out of reach, in a place I can't access." Museum staff adapted to ongoing paranormal activity. New protocols include documenting unexplained phenomena, and training for supernatural encounters. Night guard Rodriguez has grown accustomed to sharing shifts with invisible children. "They're not scary," he explains. "Just kids who got lost in a way nobody understands. I talk to them sometimes, let them know families miss them." The case remains officially unsolved. Portland Police maintains open file, Detective Kim continues investigating new developments. But conventional law enforcement has little to offer when dealing with phenomena violating physical laws. Paranormal researchers continue studying the museum, hoping to understand disappearance mechanisms and potentially recover missing children. Progress is limited by the phenomena's unprecedented nature. Security cameras continue recording unusual activity nightly. Children's figures moving through galleries, voices in empty rooms, shadows where none should exist. Missing students appear to live parallel existence within the museum, aware but unreachable. The Riverside Natural History Museum disappearances represent one of history's most documented and inexplicable missing persons cases. Unlike traditional disappearances leaving questions about what happened, this case provides clear video evidence of impossible events. Security footage proves 6 children walked through solid walls and vanished into non-existent spaces. But it offers no explanation for how such events could occur or where the children went. For families, the case represents unique ongoing tragedy. Their children aren't simply missing, they appear to exist in parallel state, allowing observation but preventing reunion. Parents hear voices and sense presence, but can't reach them. The museum continues as both educational institution and inadvertent paranormal laboratory. Daily documented evidence of children's continued existence in alternate form, but science offers no explanations for their condition. The case challenges fundamental assumptions about physical reality and existence itself. It suggests our understanding of space, matter, and dimensional boundaries may be incomplete. Missing children exist as evidence of reality aspects we don't comprehend. For investigators, the case represents frustration and fascination. They have more disappearance documentation than most cases, but that documentation shows events that shouldn't be possible. Children's voices continue echoing through museum halls after closing, reminding staff and visitors that some mysteries can't be solved conventionally. They remain lost between worlds, visible but unreachable, calling to families who can't respond. Thank you for watching this investigation into the Riverside Natural History Museum disappearances. Subscribe to Beneath Stories for more cases challenging our understanding of reality itself. Because sometimes the impossible happens in full view of security cameras, leaving us with perfect documentation of events we can't explain.